Otherwise, how can I profess a religion that is so good and I cannot sustain the challenge? Challenges and sustaining the challenges is where the strength of Islam lies. Let us look at it. It may take us into a state sometimes of doubt and sort of a partial agnostic character. It's fine, because when it sits, Shaykh Mutahari mentions it beautifully, he says, doubt is an engine to get to a certainty. But don't get stuck in doubt. Use it as a means to get closer to Allah. It's a great tool, but don't be afraid of it. It's a healthy tool. For when it gives you certainty, you will give your life for it. This is why Ahlul Bayt was so great. They gave their lives for it because they were with yaqeen. And Allah says, yaqeen is the ultimate position of a believer. Certainty. To such certainty, they see everything before even it comes to them. And that means you have to reflect. And that's why I mentioned in my lecture today, fundamental truths, good, evil, these questions that were asked today about, for example, free will, predestination. Have this clear focus, prophethood, imamah, Quran, religion. Why religion? Why prayer? What do I need it for? Without going too deep into it, you'll understand that just a cursory observation clearly indicates that the systems that Allah has laid are the best possible systems. Let me give you an example. If you ever study psychology or sociology, even in a business, you'll ever notice, by the way, if you want to run a successful business, you always have frequent meetings. You find some businesses, what meeting do I need? Just do it. You've got a whole staff, you don't have meetings. You find your business operations is always weak. A solid business has fixed systems of meetings. You notice that? You discuss issues. You figure out new ways to change the dynamics of the company. And you look for all possible problems in the company. You try to empower your workers. Your workers empower you. It becomes a relationship. You don't agree? Look at the system. Who in the world has established a weekly meeting for all the people? وَإِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَىٰ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. When Friday comes, go for Jum'ah. It is good for you. Look at this. Look at the social system. No religion in the world has it. Then Allah says, قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Travel, it's good for you. Okay, Allah says, come as my guest to Hajj. So how many people come to Hajj? Millions of people. Now, 3 million people come to Hajj, sometimes 4 million people. We're overwhelmed. When I'm in Hajj, they say prayer time don't move against the grain of people, right? Because you get overwhelmed by these human beings. You just get so tired of seeing humans. Allah is saying, do you see all these human beings? This is not even 1/10 of 1% of my population. You're overwhelmed, aren't you? But look around. Every color is here. Every height is here. Every skin tone is here. Every nationality is here. Did you see my world? Try to trump this one. You find the Las Vegas groups, they would love to use the words Mecca. Las Vegas is the Mecca of gambling. Mecca. Mecca is a common word. Oh, basketball. Oh yeah, such a country is the Mecca. They say the Madison Square Garden is the Mecca of basketball. Mecca, mashallah, I like the word Mecca. How are you using it, huh? What does it mean? No group of people on earth have ever gotten together to see the world in a microcosm on earth while bearing allegiance to a Lord than Islam. Show me a religion that has been able to put this together. It's physically, mentally, socially impossible. Only Islam has pulled it off. And it continues to pull it off. Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, believed that the white man was the devil. Did Shaitan fool him? Yes. All it took was a trip to Mecca. He said, I went around the Kaaba and I saw Muslims and I have been duped. He comes back and says to the scholars, he says, my religion was false, the one I proposed before. And my leader who was before my leader was wrong. I saw the real Islam and he gave his life for it. Look at the power of media. Can you find a system like that? Examine. I was in Mecca once and a brother who came from Texas was working for the Marines. Look, simple examples. Like if we shrug our shoulders thinking it's normal. It's not normal. Nobody can pull it off except Allah. Examine. Global view. See. You ever want to study religions? Study global views. See movements and see what is the orchestration of the divine being. It has to be in front of me, otherwise I can't accept Allah. He says, I work for the Marines. He says, my job is to teach my Marines, at the blow of one whistle, they line up. That's what I teach them every day. He says, I'm overwhelmed. We were in Medina walking. He says, I'm overwhelmed. I said, why? He says, there's millions of people here from all styles of economic lifestyles. The lay, the educated, the doctor, the street guy, the guy's got a miswak in his mouth, got a long beard, clean-shaven guy, you know, the educated, and they're just filing. It's almost like they're automated. And then 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour before Salah, we're looking down, it's just a perfect lineup. It's my dream. If I can line up the military to just face one direction without even thinking, how is this happening? I'm a military man, this is my dream. I said, look at God's plan. Can anybody do that? Try it. If anybody ever made us president of the world, think about it. I think about it many times. If I was the president of the world, could I do it? Forget it. It'll never work.
Last question for you, Brother Hassanain. If you could recommend a book that has really inspired you, or a speaker who has motivated you, who would that be? Or what would that be?
There are many books that inspired me. I tell you, my experience has been, it's a collection of scholars that have inspired me. One of the best inspirations that I've had, I must say, is Shaykh Mutahari. Shaykh Mutahari in his books, you know, what I like about Shaykh Mutahari is he's a philosopher. And me growing up in the United States, I was always rebellious in the sense of challenging my establishments. I said, why do I need to do this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I couldn't come up with answers. I really couldn't grasp Islam. It was like fragmented all over. I knew that whatever I had was right. I just couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together. I needed a scholar to guide me and show me the way. And Shaykh Mutahari just absolutely blew me out of the water. Man in the Universe was an excellent example. I started reading this. As a philosopher, he assumes you know nothing. Then he starts to establish the logical, rational arguments. And when he builds on it, it's so firm. You're looking at it, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So I became so empowered in the rationale because I could see where Mutahari was coming from, that it just changed my life. I gained so much confidence. And I realized that it is my obligation to submit to Allah. I'm no longer a dangling creature in space with no direction. I was directed. And my long-term vision was so in focus, I knew exactly what I need to do. People like Shaykh Mutahari really brought that focus in my mind. Sayyid Mustafa Musabidari, excellent scholar. There are so many wonderful books by great scholars who've written. Many of our ulama, if you read some of the books, Allama Tabatabai, Mizan fi Tafsir al-Quran, brilliant discourses. And there are many more like these. I will not mention some of the names because I'm not directly thinking right now, but there are so many wonderful books like this. I would advise to read. But me, I read all kinds of books. I don't only read Islamic books or religious books. I love to read scientific books. I love to read biographies. I love to read. I love to watch. I love to watch the BBC, you know, the Blue Planet series, or I watch Nova, or I watch Discovery, because there's so much information from Allah through this. So much, and I keep watching. I love to read mathematical books, because as a science, you know, with a science background, I love to approach rational arguments using scientific arguments. I love that. And I would advise you to read, if you have a scientific background, read, of course, Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. Excellent book. Read the Zero Biography of a Dangerous Idea by Charles Seif. Excellent book. It shows you where zero came into play. You know, it's the Muslims who put zero in the right position. Can you imagine? Zero. You would think zero. Big deal. You know, sofa. Zero. You realize it had an evolution. It actually, the minute it came into the right place, it gave credibility to science. You might think, you shrug your shoulder, what's zero? Zero is a nothing. Yeah, but you have to put it somewhere. And it's so ingenious. And Charles Seif shows you the whole history of how zero came into play. I love that book. I love to read books by Malcolm Gladwell. Blink and Tipping Point, and then he has another book now. He's an excellent writer. And he has a nose for that sixth sense of trying to expose very salient characters of the human race. I love to read those. And then when I read the stories of Ahl al-Bayt, when I read the Nahj al-Balagha, for example, which is, to me, a masterpiece. If you ever want to learn morals, Nahj al-Balagha. SubhanAllah. If any time I want to be consoled with my heart, Quran, of course, is the ultimate book in the world. Nothing can equal